Alright, now this is a video I'd rather not make. However, due to my experience being so poor with this org, I need to say a few things with the intention of this being a public service announcement. I know I'm opening myself up to some flack, but I'm making this anyway for the reason I'll go over later. I've been a part of player groups since I was 13 in multiple games. The experience I had with the medrunners was something I don't wish on anyone, and in my opinion, people need to be made aware of what they're like so they can make an informed decision. You're free to make your own decisions. I can only provide my experience and opinions because I wouldn't even recommend this org to my enemies. The medrunners are a group of people who want to do medical gameplay within Star Citizen. The idea of doing such gameplay with how they advertise themselves is a striking one to many people. Dropping into an alert with the possibility of being shot at and rescuing someone and fighting their way out is an attractive one. When I first heard about them from the Space Tomato interview, I fell in love with the concept and immediately signed up. This, however, was my first mistake, as they were falsely advertising their org, and as soon as people took part in alerts, they'd find out that they spend hours upon hours of waiting around to then hurry to an alert to then be told to RTB because they've run from every fight or not turn up at all. Not long after joining, I found myself getting frustrated by the higher-ups' attitude. Whenever someone would make a suggestion, which were well thought out, given examples, and for the most part was surgical in their arguments, it was treated by disdain and contempt. I'm not saying it's bad to challenge ideas and suggestions, but people would be overwhelmed by multiple people with an attitude akin to an old boys club. Their challenges were always based on hypothetical scenarios while they were telling people to gather data so decisions could be made. Now this isn't always a bad thing, but the data collection methods are so flawed that they give inaccurate results and therefore should only be used as a guide and not held as gospel. Not only that, but their reasoning for doing this seems to be based on what pirate orgs will or won't do, even though many of the people giving suggestions are experienced at PvP and running player orgs themselves, on both sides of the legal system within Star Citizen. My next gripe are their policies regarding in and out game conduct. Members would receive DMs telling them not to do this or that. This would even reach to what people could say in-game when not partaking in org activities. Now for me this is unacceptable. Medrunners do not pay their members, nor do they have the right to tell people how to act to that degree. This is a game, not real-world employment. This isn't the half of it. Members are encouraged to make complaints at every little thing, which naturally causes members to feel like walking on eggshells because certain other members have no conflict resolution skills. You can probably guess the age range of the people who make many of these complaints. In theory, it's a good idea. However, in practice, it leads to moderation staff giving out warnings like candy because they completely fail to take both sides into consideration, and they gloss over any such context, which would greatly reduce the number of complaints being taken seriously, and thus would result in the lower workload and stress of moderation staff. I understand the need for moderation staff, don't get me wrong, but it needs to be a line drawn somewhere. People are allowed to put in complaints for personal disagreements, and this, in my opinion, is taking advantage of the system and only leads to discontent, frustration, and bigger arguments down the road. Now here's the bigger thing that motivated me to making this video. One of their management staff recently made a post trying to address rumours, which nearly 5,000 people can see. Even going so far as naming myself and 7 other members who left, who funnily enough were the members who'd spend time making suggestions and trying to improve the quality of life within the org. Making false accusations because you're desperate to keep the org alive because more people are leaving each day than joining is pathetic. They're even losing management staff, and yes, those members were included in the statement. This is the most unprofessional organisation I've ever encountered. I never even received an explanation for being kicked, and this was contrary to their apparent professionalism and standards. This is laughable and reminds me of schoolyard politics. There is a reason why so many medical orgs have popped up recently. For your own sanity and happiness, I recommend you stay away from the medrunners and look for other orgs that will enable you to have fun and enjoy your time playing this fantastic game. Organisations like the medrunners are a detriment to this game, and I really don't want this game to have a similar reputation to the known toxic games on the market right now. But again, you're free to do what you want. Your life is your own. No one has the right of telling someone how to live their lives when they're not paying you. This is a problem not exclusive to the medrunners. Many people who run player groups have the power trip mentality, and it seems like because they've had sudden growth or they're just someone who's toxic in the first place, they can dictate other people's lives. People need to realise we play games to have fun, and we should hold these people to a higher standard. We don't want to be more stressed than when we finish playing the game that day than when we started playing. If someone in that power position is acting unreasonably, we need to hold them to account or just leave that group for another that will enable us to have more fun and make playing the game something we want to come back to. Anyway, I hope people can keep these points in the back of their minds going into games in the future. And with that, take it easy.